Hey everyone, welcome to another Webflow Build With Me series live stream. I'm your host Nelson. Thank you for joining me today. And for those of you who are new, welcome. So these streams are a great way, a great place for you to help get inspired and show you how to create different designs in Webflow. Okay, and of course, if you're returning, welcome back. And I see some people who are returning today. Let me see who's in the live chat. Peter is in the door first. Welcome back, Peter. Always happy to see you, your avatar, and your name in the live chat. Pablo, welcome, my friend. Maria, hello. I'm so glad you're here. Dale's here. Frank, oh, we got the Frank cam today, so we're going to be using it. So welcome, Frank. Karen is here. Michael, welcome, friends. So, yeah, let's just dive into what we're going to be building today. So, as you saw in the title, we're going to create a unique scrolling zoom effect, kind of like the one as seen on the Discovery Builders website. So, this is a site that I saw on awards.com, and let me show my screen. There we go. So this is something I saw on awards.com, and I think some of you in the Webflow community have also shared it on Twitter, and I'm very active on Twitter, so I'm just, always looking to see what you are all talking about and like discussing great designs. And so this one is really, really cool. This homepage has it all. I mean, you have the parallax scrolling right here. You have this text that's being like shaded in, so beautiful. And you also have parallax scrolling with the background image of I think of the topographic map. Yeah. And then you have these images that are parallax scrolling, so smooth, so smooth, so much white space. Like you can like feel the breath of fresh air in this design. So whoever did this or the team behind this, good job. You deserve that award from Awards. All right. But here is where we're going to focus in more specifically. So when I was scrolling down here, and if you haven't been here, it's discoverybuildersllc.com. Let's see here. Aaron, who's in the live chat moderating for us today, thank you. Can you please put that link in the chat? Discoverybuildersllc.com. So right here, this is where I'm focusing on. So right here, as I was scrolling, I was like, whoa, that meme gif of oh and I was like, wow, okay, that's really cool. And so as with all things, whenever I see something new on a website that really gets my attention, I start to play around with it. I'm like, okay, this is cool, but how do you build it? And more specifically, how do you build it in Webflow? I need to do this. And so I spent a good couple of hours trying to dissect it, trying to figure it out. And I was like, oh, I know how to do this. And so here's my take on it. So I'm here, pretend this is a hero row, and I scroll down. Obviously, I'm using space stuff, space photos. Oops. There we go. So I'm scrolling. And there we go. Now we're in space. And then we're scrolling down to the next section. All right. And then we're scrolling back. There we go. Really, really cool. And of course, all done without code. And I want to show you how it's done. So during the stream, you're going to learn how to structure the elements using the new element quick stack and Flexbox, and then we'll add some styles to the elements, and then lastly we're going to add the all-important Webflow scrolling interaction to make that zoom in effect. All right, so let's get into the agenda for today. So first we're going to break down the finished layout. All right, we're going to break down the design, and then we're going to build the layout from scratch inside of Webflow, and lastly also we're going to add the scrolling interaction, and then lastly we're going to get into Q&A. So speaking of Q&A, if you have any questions about today's build while I'm doing the breakdown or while I'm building the structured elements or adding interactions, go ahead and drop your questions in the YouTube live Q&A section. All right. And then I'll look for those questions. Aaron will pass them on to me, and then I will answer them live on the stream. All right. But if you have questions about anything besides today's topic, which is the scrolling zoom effect, then you can ask that later at the end of the stream if we have time. All right. So let me see who else is in the live chat. We have Al is here. Okay, cool. Welcome, Al. And I think I got everyone. All right, let's do this. Let's get into the breakdown. All right, one of my favorite parts of this stream. All right, so breaking it down, we're going to slide this keyboard forward because we're going to get into the Frank cam. Let's see here. All right, and let me try something. I did this right before the stream, and I'm like, oh yeah. So, hi. Okay, that was fun. All right, so here we go. First thing I want to show you is position sticky and explain that real quick. All right, so back on my screen, position sticky. If I scroll down, you'll notice that this whole grid area stops. I'm scrolling up and down. So right here, actually, let me go. There we go. So I'm scrolling up and down on the screen, but this grid stays stuck. It's position sticky, right? And then when I'm done scrolling past that section, it's no longer sticky. It unsticks itself, right? So if you haven't played with the CSS position sticky yet or watched the tutorial, I'm going to break it down in a different way, right? So back on the desk. Let's think about position sticky in a different way. Oh, my marker fell. Okay, I'm back. Here we go. Imagine you signed up for a trail race, a marathon, a Olympic track and field event, right? At all of those, you have a starting line. And at the end of those, you also have a finish line, obviously. You need to know when you start and when you finish. However, something is missing from this. If you sign up for a race, you really want to know how far you're going to run or how far you're going to hike up the trail. All right? And so without a length, I don't really have a race. I don't really have a track, okay? So for this one, I'm going to call this, let's just do a simple one, a 5-kilometer race. So from top to bottom, from start to finish, it's 5K, 5 kilometers, all right? And so, and hello to Scott's 2-year-old laughing at the screen. So say this is us. We are running. Now, for position sticky, when we start and we're running, now that we know how far we have to go down, now we know start and then everything's scrolling up, or we're racing down to the finish line. And then once I get to the finish, I'm done. And so everything else scrolls up. Okay? So that's position sticky. You are the racer, or actually, the racer is actually the content. So the content is at the start. And so when the start scrolls up and then it gets to the top of the, say the keyboard is the top of the browser, it just keeps going and going until we finish our 5-kilometer run, and then we're done. All right, so that's position sticky. So that's how this is happening. Let me go back to my screen. And so we have 3 sections. We have this section, the hero, and then we have this section that's holding our grid, and our grid is that content or the runner, okay? And the runner is starting its marathon. And while it's, or not marathon, it's race. And while we are going down the racetrack or the scroll track, we're just scrolling. Oop, you don't see my, there it is. So we're just scrolling. And then we're done with the finish line and we move on to the next section. All right. Let me know if that makes sense or if you want me to explain it in a different way, but like that is position sticky. All right. So that's all that's happening. You have 3 sections. Okay. Now, the next part of the breakdown, we're going to talk about overflow hidden. Okay. So back here, frame cam, overflow hidden. So imagine this is our image. Okay. And when we want to crop something out, but we don't want to delete those parts of the image, we're going to do overflow hidden. And so we'll make a box that goes around this image and just crop it out like this. Okay? So there's still, right? This is bigger than the whole, right? So imagine this is a div. This white paper is our div. And we've set a hole in the middle of it to be smaller than the image element. Okay? But we want to put this on top, and so we have anything that overflows out of the hole that we've made will be hidden, and that's overflow hidden. And so that's what we are doing with this. Nope. That. So that's what we're doing with this right here. We have this center image actually has an overflow hidden. And so as I'm scrolling in, we're revealing more and more. Okay? All right. So you understand overflow hidden. You understand position sticky. Now let's actually build the structure. All right? I love using props. I love using the frame cam. And if there's any time that I can use it, I will use it. So let me know if you want me to explain anything else. Or again, if you want to put in the comments after this stream, or I think you can put comments now, but let me know what you would like to learn in Webflow. Let me know if I can explain anything else using the overhead cam, aka frame cam. I would love to do it because props are my thing. All right. So let's get into the building. Let me go into Webflow and new page. All right, here we go. There I am. Hello. All right, first things first, let's add our hero row. So something simple. Let me just press Command E for quick find, type in hero, and I'm just going to choose this one. Cool. Done. All right. Next, let's go ahead and Command E and type in div. So we have a div right under this hero heading. And let's call this our scroll track. Or if you want to call it something else, we can call it like the racetrack. Remember, this is the length that our content has to run. All right. So scroll track, and let's make the content run, say 500 SVH. So 500% of the viewport height, okay? The smallest viewport height. That's what S means. All right. So let me just make this a different color real quick just to show you. Let me just do a basic gradient. And so see, I'm scrolling down, and that's how tall that scroll track is. Okay, so 500. Okay, I'm going to remove that. And now, when I want to use position sticky, I have to tell the content that, hey, what you're going to be stuck to should be the parent that has a position of relative. And so this scroll track will have position relative right here, position relative. And so now when I go and add my quick stack, I'm going to tell it, hey, I want you to pin to the scroll track. All right. If I don't do that, the position sticky won't work. All right. And Frank is saying, I already get it. This is such a clever way to do this. Yes. Glad I can help. All right. So now let's go ahead, Command E, type in quick. Now we have our quick stack. Awesome. And what did I do for this? Let's see here. I think I did like 3 columns or something. No, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think 4 columns is what I did. Yeah, so let's add 4 columns and 3 rows. Really simple. Done and done. And then I just created some sort of like, I just merged some of the cells. Like this bottom one, I'm going to merge it with this. Awesome. And then this top one, I'm going to merge it with that. And then this one, I'm going to merge it with that. So this is the center one we're going to focus in on a lot. And then this one, I'm going to focus on that. Cool. Quick stack for the win. All right. So back on quick stack right here. Let me go ahead and set the height to, let's see here. What did I want to do? Hold on. Thinking in my head. Oh yeah, 100 SVH. So this needs to be as tall as the browser window. But this also needs to be inside of a div. So let me add another div real quick. There we go. So I needed to wrap this quick stack in a div. And I'll explain why. Right? So the reason why is because I need this to have the position sticky. So this is going to be position sticky, and also it's going to have an overflow of hidden, right? So the overflow hidden is that masking, because when I'm zooming, I don't want anything to make my browser do the horizontal scroll. We don't want that. So I'm going to call this the grid mask. Okay. Oh, and thank you, Aaron. And I totally forgot to mention, if you want to put your name in the ending credits of today's stream, go ahead and submit it. Let's see here. Aaron, yeah, Aaron's going to put the link in the live chat where you can put your name. All right? All right, cool. So grid mask, overflow hidden, and this one is going to have the position sticky. So position, sticky, and I'm going to, position sticky, and set the top to 0. All right. So I set this to 0. All right. So watch what happens when I scroll. I'm scrolling, I'm still scrolling, and the grid is not moving anywhere. All right. So that grid is our runner, and it's going down that 5K race. Cool. So the sticky works. All right. So let's go ahead and add our images. Okay, so I think this was the middle, so I'm going to put this in the middle. Let's go ahead and put Spaceman there. And let's go ahead and put you at the top. That's cool. And I'm going to put you at the bottom left. Bottom left. Oh, I ran out of size. I ran out of space. I need to put you in the bottom left. Okay, I need to fix this real quick. This height, I'm going to reset it because I can't see the other cells. They're too big. Ah, I know how to fix it. With a quick stack, I'm going to set this row. I'm going to click here and set the height of this row to 20 SVH. There we go. And then I'm going to set this row right here to 20 SVH. And that means this center one is just going to take up the rest of the space. So 20 plus 20 equals 40. And so this is just naturally 60. Press done. And there we go. So now I can just drag this into this cell. Cool. That's what I want. And I know things are overlapping. Don't worry. We're going to fix it. And let's see here. This one, I think this one goes here. Yeah, I think we're done. Yeah, that's all we need. Okay. So we have our images, pretty gallery. Let's fix these up. All right. So I'm going to call this fading. Oh, I already used that. I'll call this other image. And I'm going to make sure that other image is 100% width and 100% height of its parent. And notice how it's all squished and skewed. Well, we can fix that by using object fit and set that to cover. And there we go. All right. And right here, I'm going to set this to other image. There we go. So I'm just going to copy this class name and paste it on each of these. And there we go. Cool. We're getting closer, getting closer. And this one, we're going to call this the main image. And the reason why I'm giving this a different name is because other images, I'm going to fade them out using Webflow interactions. So I don't want this to fade out, so I'm going to give it a different name. All right, so 100% width, 100% height. It's skewed a bit. Let's go ahead and cover. Cool, we're done with that. Now, let's go ahead and let's see here. What are we doing? Okay, so let's go ahead and do our interactions. Okay, so we have everything done. Let's add one more. Gonna add one more. Let's add a footer. There we go. I need something bigger. Let's add the team circles. There we go. There we go. We have a team section. Cool. So we have our elements set up. We have our hero row, and then we have the scroll track where all the interactions are going to happen. We have the CSS position sticky happening with the grid mask, and then we have quick stack right here with all of our images. All right. Now that's all done. It's time for the fun Webflow interactions. I'm going to select the scroll track, but before I get into this, I want to make sure that there's no other questions. Let's see, Maria, I'm going to be in most of the credits. Hey, really happy that you're here for most of the streams, if not all, so thank you, Maria. Ibrahim is wondering, what's the command for merging? And welcome from Nigeria, welcome. Yeah, I'm happy to show that real quick. So there's not really a keyboard command for merging cells. There's actually just a hover. So I'm going to click on this cell, and I'm going to hover over this middle gap area, okay? And right here, you'll see that I have the option to add a column to the right of this cell, or just merge it with the cell on the right. Or if I hover here to the bottom, I can just merge it below. All right, so everything's on the canvas is much, much easier. All right, so that's merging. Okay. All right, and okay, cool. All right, so got through the questions. Let's keep going. Let me check any other questions. Nope. All right. Cool. Let's get into interactions. So when it comes to interactions, I always like to say it's basically an if-then statement. Like, if I'm hungry, I will find food. If I jump, I will gain some altitude, you know? So it's just if-then. So with this one, if I scroll down the page, then do something. And that's what I'm going to be doing right now. So I'm going to select scroll track because if I scroll down this element, which is called scroll track, do something. So I'm going to go to interactions here, press the plus sign while scrolling in view. So if I'm scrolling while this element is in view, do something. So I have the if statement done. Now what's the then? Well, then play a scroll in animation, and we're going to create one. So I press the plus sign and scrolling zoom effect. That's what I'm going to call it. Cool. Now, all this is, if I'm going to show you the demo again, all this is just taking the position sticky and then scaling everything closer. Scaling everything, okay? So all it is I'm going to use the camera again because I love it. All it is basically doing this. You have the web page, and I'm going to scale it, and then when I scroll down, it's going to go like that. That's all it's doing. All right. So when I figured this out, I was like, oh, this is so easy. Well, easy is a relative term, but here we go. So I'm going to take this grid mask. Okay. Actually, no, I'm going to take this quick stack and I'm going to zoom it in. So while I'm scrolling down the scroll track, affect the quick stack. So I'm going to scale this. So I press the plus, click scale, type in 1. So we're starting at 1%, 1% of itself to something like 1.5. How about 2? 3? Okay, let's do 3. Okay, cool. All right, and so if I preview, I'm going to scroll up and down. There it is. So that's the basics of it. Now, I can say that I'm done, but no, I want to fine tune this. I want this to be better. I don't want this just to be done. I want this to be better. All right? So, how can we make this better? So, first, if you notice, it's already scrolling by the time I get here. I don't want it to scroll immediately. I want it to scroll right about scroll. I want it to start zooming right about here, say 10%. Well, let's make it 15. So I'm going to click this, and at the keyframe right here, I'm going to type 15%. Okay? And I want it to be done with the zooming a bit earlier. So I'm going to go here, and it should be done right about here. Like I want it to be done earlier. So let's say 60. And take this, change the keyframe to 60, and preview it. So scrolling down, done at 60. All right, now that's too far down. Let's say 80. So I'm going to click here, 80. Reset, scrolling down, scroll, and we're done. And there we go. All right? Something like that. Cool. So that first part's done. Now, again, you can say, okay, it's done. Give it to the client. No, we need to make it better. All right? So let's click on the other image and let's make these fade out. So I'm going to press the plus sign at the 15% keyframe and start the opacity at 100%. Okay? And then I'm going to press the plus sign, let's say at 30, because I want these to fade out. I want these to fade out before the full zoom is done. So I'm going to fade these out using opacity and set that to 0. And let me scroll back up. Live preview on. Scrolling, and there we go. So those fade out. All right. Cool. Now, again, you can say, okay, client, I'm done. No, we got to go even harder on this. We got to make these better. All right. So if you look at Discovery Builders, you'll notice that a couple things are happening. You have that fade out effect, and then this box is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, right? While at the same time, look at the image. There's like more of the image being shown. All right. Now, I didn't understand this little subtle detail until I showed my practice session to McGuire. Yes, the McGuire. And he said, you have to zoom backwards. And I didn't understand what he meant by that. You know, I thought, okay, I'm zooming into the image. Cool, done. But then he said, no, zoom out while you're zooming in. Now, when I figured it out, I was like, oh, that makes sense. Okay, so here we go. What I'm going to do is this main image, it needs to zoom out so you can see more of the stars. Okay, so right now we're just zooming in and we're seeing less stars. See how the stars are going away on the side, top, and right in bottom, we need to see more stars. So how are we going to achieve this? Okay, so here's the trick. This main image needs that mask around it. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to right click, wrap in a div block, and I'm going to call this main image mask. I'm going to set this to position hidden. And now this main image, I'm going to make sure that it's zoomed in already. And so as as the whole quick stack is zooming in, this main image is also zooming out. And like Frank is saying, it's like a dolly zoom. Yeah. Like I don't know much about cinematic terms, but I think it's that. All right, Terrence, welcome. Saying this is very cool. First time looking into Webflow effects panel. Yes, there's so much power in the Webflow interactions tool. It's amazing. All right, so let's do this. So we have this as set to overflow hidden, and let me go back into my interaction. So I click on scroll track, going back into here, scrolling zoom, and so I'm going to take this main image. All right. And I'm going to make sure that at 15%, the scale of it is set to something bigger. So I'm going to say 1.5. Okay, you see that? When I go to 1.5, notice how just like this image right here, we're adding the overflow hidden, just like that. And so this is like scaled a lot, 1.5, but you don't see the rest of the image. Again, the rest of the image is bigger than that whole. So that's what we're seeing right here. See how the boundary of that image is way bigger than the whole? That's on purpose. And now I'm going to, at 80%, I'm going to scale this main image back to 1. Okay? And then let's go ahead and scroll all the way up, live preview, and scroll. And so there we go. We're seeing more of the image. We're seeing more of the image and zooming in at the same time. Let's actually make this scale on keyframe on 70 instead. Let's see what happens. Okay, scrolling. And there we go. And that's it. Go to preview mode right here. We did it. That's it. All right. So probably a short stream today if there's no questions, but let's review what we did. We learned about the position sticky, which sticks the grid from the start line to the finish. And then we learned about overflow hidden for masking. And then we learned about the Webflow interaction to make the zoom effect, which is all just scaling. Scaling and then fading these away. I mean, you can play with other things too. I think on my version, I scaled. Here's my practice version. Yeah, I scaled the mask as well. So it goes on top of the other images. So you can do that as well. There's so many things. Let me check for questions. Okay, no questions there. Yeah, if you want to drop it in the live chat. If you want to... Yeah, Dale, the reverse zoom is the icing on the cake. I didn't understand that, but of course, McGuire had to spell it out for me, and so thankful he did because I didn't understand what I was doing wrong. I'm like, how come Discovery Builder's website looks so much better than what I'm trying to do? Like, what is that missing piece? And it's so subtle. So subtle. And obviously he has a background in film, so yeah, it makes sense. Dolly zoom. I need to learn that. I'm going to wiki that. Let's see here. Frank. So it's a bit different from this element, but I was looking at the builder site and noticed the scrolling feels very different, slower and smoother. Is this an effect? Oh, I guess we'll right there, Q&A. Is this an effect you can create in Webflow? I think there's some sort of code that you can custom code that you can add to Webflow that adds more of a smooth scrolling. But yeah, it's possible to have that smoother scroll. It's just you need to find that code and put it into your Webflow project. Great question from Frank. Hamza, welcome. I'm new here. Yay, welcome Hamza. Just want to know, is it free to create websites on Webflow for free? Yes, you can get started today and you can do exactly what I've done. Or in the bottom of the YouTube description, you'll find a link to the clonable. So you can clone this exact project that we just did and put it into your Webflow account for free. And you can publish it for free. All right, so you can start learning how to develop websites visually. So go ahead and sign up for Webflow and interact with the community. You're going to learn so much. And hopefully you'll be back for all the other episodes of these streams so you can learn even more. Or go in the back catalog and continue learning. All right, so welcome. Yami, hello. It's completely free. And if you want more capabilities like having more pages to build on or building sites on a custom domain name, that's when you'll get into the paid plans. But you can learn more about it, webflow.com/pricing. Welcome, Seba. I'm just starting with Webflow today. Welcome. This is one of the great streams for you to be on, so I'm glad you're here to learn. Seems awesome how easy you can do some so nice looking sites. Hope to be doing things like this soon. Greetings from Argentina. Welcome, Argentina. Argentina in the house. Yes. Yeah, you can make, as you've seen, I coded nothing. And all it is just making keyframes and saying, hey, I want you to start zooming from here to here. No coding whatsoever, but yes. Maj Harul is saying, add some box shadow, I think would look awesome. Okay. Hamza's a web developer. Yes. So Webflow is perfect for you because if you know how to code HTML and CSS, everything you see in Webflow, all the buttons it's just simple to pick up since you have that fundamental background. All right. There's still more questions. So EQNX. I'm starting my portfolio here in Webflow, and I have managed to convince my client to do their e-commerce website by Webflow. Yes! Awesome. And yeah, I think that's it. If there's any other questions, yeah. Oh, you're from Philippines. Welcome, EQNX. You see the potential of Webflow. Yes. I'm glad. All right. So that's it for today's stream. All right. So, okay. So I think that's it for this stream. Let's go into ending credits. Again, these are the people who added their names to the stream. And if you're watching a recording of this, that means you weren't in the live chat. It's totally fine. If you want to just say hi in the comments below, go ahead and do so. But let's get into our credits to see who is here and what name you got. All right, so we have some people from last week. Awesome. Who added their name? Oh, Boba Fett clones. I love it. Jiggly. There's a lot of Jigglypuffs in here. JavaScript testers. Awesome. Where's Maria? Prashant, Sarah. Automation aces. Nice. Lots of people, lots of names, lots of community members. So that's it for today. Again, oops, that's not it. That's the wrong scene. Where am I at? Okay, I don't have my outro. But yeah, if you have any other questions about Webflow, if you want to join the community, go to discourse.webflow.com and just ask your questions there. Join the community. Our so many great friends want to help you learn Webflow. And if you have any questions about your account or have any technical issues, go ahead and go to support.webflow.com. And our team is there 24/7. They'll help you out as soon as they can. And if you want to learn more about Webflow, there's so many tutorials, and especially all the new people in the live chat. Welcome to the community. So much wonderful tutorials over at university.webflow.com. Take those courses. Take the Webflow 101 course. You're going to learn a ton and you're going to laugh as well. All right. So our team is here to help you out. Again, my name is Nelson Abalos Jr. Thank you so much. Aaron will be here next week for his stream. It's going to be Notion and Webflow. So you're going to learn more about how to work with those tools in his workflow series. So be back here next Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific. If you haven't subscribed to this YouTube channel, go ahead and do so you can get those reminders. I'll see you next time. And as always, make the web beautiful together. See ya.